Welcome to the module on referrals. At the end of this module, you'll be able to distinguish between VR and provider sections on the referral and complete the provider section of the referral accurately. The referral process for youth peer mentoring begins with a conversation between the customer and the counselor. The VR counselor compiles a list of certified providers and presents the options to the customer. The customer makes their selection, then the referral is made. Because hiring mentors after a referral can cause a delay in the delivery of services to the student, VR counselors will not make a referral to the provider until they have at least one mentor on staff. One way for providers to maintain mentors on staff while waiting on referrals is to build additional job duties into their job description. For example, some providers may choose to use job coaches dually as mentors, if they meet the requirements for being a mentor. Youth peer mentoring referrals use the paper referral process, which means REBA will not be used for referral or payment. Because of the intensive nature of the peer mentoring service, it is only available to eligible VR customers who have applied for full VR services. On the screen is a picture of the two-page referral form. The form, once completed by the counselor and provider, will serve as the first deliverable, plan and mentor assignment. We're going to look at some referral specifics, starting with service selection. In Section 1, Service Plan, the VR counselor will work with the youth to identify organizations within a minimum of 2 service categories. One organization must be selected from Section A, Community Service Organizations. The second and any additional organizations may come from any category, A, B, or C. The counselor will then select the number of hours authorized for the services. If additional hours are needed, a provider may request them from the counselor, preferably after they have started delivering services and have an understanding of what will be needed. Next, the counselor completes the supporting documentation section on page 2. They will gather any report, plan, or evaluation information that might be necessary for the youth to access or register with an organization. Supporting documentation isn't required, but if it becomes necessary to have at a later point, simply request it from the counselor. The mentor matching section contains the customer's mentor preferences. It's important that youth feel comfortable with their mentor. Providers should attempt to fulfill the customer's preferences to the extent possible, but a complete match is not expected or required to move forward. During the pilot of this service, the primary preference that youth expressed has been for a specific gender, male or female, often matching their own. Some customers have requested to change mentors after one was assigned for that very reason. The last section to be completed by VR staff is the customer's interests, hobbies, and career aspirations field. This section will provide information that may help the provider make a better match to a mentor. For example, if the counselor indicates that the youth is strongly interested in technology and likes to draw, the provider may try to pair the youth with a mentor with similar interests, rather than a mentor with interests in history. Once both pages are completed, the counselor reviews the information with the customer and obtains their signature on the referral. Along with the completed and signed referral, the counselor will submit 2 authorizations, one for the first benchmark, plan and mentor assignment, and the other for the number of hours to deliver the services. Services are expected to run between 2 and 6 months based on individual need. On average, the VR counselor will authorize 10 to 20 hours per month. However, the actual number of service hours used will depend largely on the youth's availability to participate in services. Section 3 on page 2 of the referral is for the provider to complete. Providers must sign and return the form to VR within 15 business days of receipt. The first step to completing the referral is to determine if you have a mentor available who is a suitable match for the customer based on his or her preferences. Mentor matching should be taken seriously. Next, you will make your referral acceptance decision. If you are accepting the referral, check the first box and fill in the peer mentor's name. Coordinators cannot be listed in the name field and cannot serve as the mentor. If you must decline the referral, check the second box and indicate your reason. Whether accepting or rejecting a referral, you must sign and return it to VR within the 15-day time frame. As mentioned earlier in the training, if additional hours are needed, you will have the opportunity to request them on the second benchmark form, the Activities Monthly Report. If you are delivering services and need to request more hours before your first Activities Monthly Report, contact the customer's counselor directly. In summary, VR customers select their provider of choice and work with their counselor to complete the referral detailing desired services and mentor preferences. It's important that youth are comfortable with their mentor. Taking preferences, interests, hobbies, and career aspirations into consideration are suggested but not required. Youth peer mentoring follows the paper referral process. Sign, date, and return the referral to VR within 15 business days or less. Thank you for completing this VR Youth Peer Mentoring module. You should now be ready to take the associated test. To access the test, return to the Vendor Resources page on rehabworks.org and choose the test that corresponds with this training. Remember, you must complete all 5 modules and pass their associated tests before you can apply to deliver services. If you have questions, please contact VR Transition Youth at vr.fldoe.org.